Hey guys, thanks to Apply Software for having me on today's webinar. My name is Pablo Giraldo. I'm an Assistant Tech Manager with the Walsh Group, and today I'm going to go over how I create my drawings, what I do before I upload them to a studio project, and then once uploaded to a studio project, how the field looks at drawings on their iPad and how they navigate back and forth between different drawings. So this quick agenda, the things that we're going to be learning today are going to be how to upload the latest set of drawings to a studio project. Then I'm going to bookmark the set of drawings. We're going to batch link the drawings to be able to go back and forth between different sheets. How to add special markups or buttons to hyperlink documents together. Then I'm going to create studio groups and give access to subs, project admins, or field engineers or superintendents. Then I'm going to switch on to something a little bit different on how to create a field dashboard. And then we're going to jump into the iPad and see how everything ties together. So enough with this agenda. Now let's get started. So I'm going to leave it open just to reference back and I won't get lost. So the first thing is how to upload the latest set of drawings to a studio project. So before we upload the drawings, we have to create a project. So I'm going to go here to the Studio tab. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to expand this a little bit. Now on the projects, I'm going to go to this plus button. I'm going to click new. I'm going to click new project. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give this a name of Applied Software Development Project. Let's just say we're building a building for applied software. So I'm going to click OK. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my folders. So I'm just going to say 01 is going to be my drawings folder. Right click, new folder. 02 is going to be my RFIs, then new folder. 03 is going to be my dashboard, and then let's just leave it as is. So now I'm going to go back to where I have my files stored. I'm going to open this up. I created this folder, call it Apply Software on my desktop, where I kind of saved all the files that I'm going to be using for this demo, for this webinar. So I'm just going to open up this dashboard folder. I'm going to grab these two files. I can probably just split the screens and then start dragging and dropping the files into my drawings folder. So, well, this is the dashboard. So I'm going to go to my dashboard folder. I'm going to drop the files in here. I'm going to go to the drawings folder. Actually, the drawings are right here. I'm going to open up the drawings folder. I'm going to drag and drop the drawings into this folder. Then I'm going to go to the dashboard folder. Well, I already did that. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to the RFIs folder and then drop the RFIs in here. So now that I have the files that I want in my studio project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my bookmark. So I'm going to go to my drawings. I'm going to go to dewatering drawings, open them up. And then now I am going to go to the bookmarks tab, click here. Then I'm going to say create bookmarks. And again, and then I normally like to start with the second page because the first page is normally the cover page and it's not the same template or layout. So again, I'm going to go back to my create bookmarks section. I'm going to say create bookmarks by page region. I'm going to click select. I'm going to go here to the general section, draw a box around it. That's going to be region number 1. Then I'm going to click in the section here, space dash space, and then I'm going to add drawing index 1. So here it gives me a preview that says general dash drawing index 1. So I like how that came in. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to say create the bookmarks on all the pages. So click OK. Then Bluebeam is creating the bookmarks. This might take a minute. So once the bookmarks are created, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go here. Once they show up right here on the left, we are going to create a few more sections and then drop all the bookmarks into those sections. So it'll be a little bit cleaner. Normally, I don't like to see a huge slew of bookmarks without having different subsections. So once this finishes up, then we'll get to that. So now all the bookmarks were created. Again, I skipped the first page, so I'm gonna just do it manually. I'm gonna say general and then call it cover page. All right, so like I said, I don't like all these drawings here or all the bookmarks here. That's just kind of a little confusing. So just to clean it up, I'm going to create another section manually. Sorry, I'm going to create another section, add a bookmark. Before, I'm going to call it general. And then I'm going to grab all the general drawings and then I'm going to drop them under the general tab. Close this out, right click, add it before. I'm going to create another bookmark, another section that says civil. Grab all the civil drawings, drop them in there. And then I'm going to do the same for all the other sections. Structural. So I guess you guys can just watch while I do this. Drop them under the structural section. Oops. Architectural. Grab them all. Drop them in there. And as you can see now, things are starting to look a little bit cleaner. Now there's multiple ways of doing this. I just kind of got used to doing it this way. But again, you can just find your way, find your workflow, and then go with that. We're almost there. Add before. Plumbing drawings, drag and drop them in there. Two more section, or I guess one more section to go. Call this mechanical. Grab them, then drop them in there. All right, so now that my bookmarks are nice and neat, the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to batch link my drawings. So I'm going to go to the batch link section up top here, batch link, new. I'm going to say add open files. I'm going to uncheck this one. I want to create the links for just the file that I'm working with, the water and temp 2. Click next. And now you can create batch links on different, either by file name, page region, or page label. So I'm going to do it by page label, and then it's going to scan the G, for example, the page label on G00-001. And this is a scan preview. Once it does this, it's going to create the hyperlink, and then I'll be able to go back and forth between different pages. Down here, there's link options. It kind of gives you different options on how you want Bluebeam to scan to hyperlink stuff together. The one thing that I like to do is make sure I hit flatten highlight, so I won't be able to click on the markup and then move it around. And then you can do it by different colors. I kind of like blue, so I just leave it as is. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to say generate. Then I'm going to click run, and then this is going to take a second as well. But once it comes up, then you'll be able to go back and forth between different drawings. And one thing that this is pretty useful for is when you're out in the field on your iPad, and like I always say, you're trying to go from either one page in the general section to the civil to the architectural one, and you won't have to scroll through 100 different pages to try to find what you're looking for. You're just clicking on those hyperlinks, and it is immediately going back and forth between different pages. And then, so we will see this in action in just a second. Once it creates the hyperlinks, we will see them in action here on the desktop version. And then at the end of this webinar, when we switch onto the iPad, you'll be able to see them in action on the iPad. So now that the batch links are created, now let's go to, I'm just kind of familiar with this set of drawings, so I'm going to go to page 9. And if I go to page 9, I zoom in right here. If I click on it, this is going to take me to C-10-231. If you see down here, it took me to the page that it called out. And then it created, here on this page, it created a few more hyperlinks. If I want to go back to the page where I came from, then I can click back on the hyperlink that it created. And then again, it's just taking me back and forth through different documents, different pages. And this is pretty, like I said, again, this is pretty useful when you're out in the field on your iPad. So the next thing in the agenda will be to create a special markup or a button to hyperlink stuff together, different documents in your studio project. So I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to do it, the first way that I'm going to do it is by creating just a special markup. So here in my tool chest, I have an RFI markup. So I'm going to grab this markup and then just drop it in here. I'm going to double click in the markup and say this is RFI 001. And then I'm going to right click on the markup, and then I'm going to say edit action. And then I'm going to hyperlink it, or I'm going to link it to open file. I'm going to link it to a file in my studio project. So I created, this is the reason why I created this RFIs folder. I want to link it to this file. Click OK. Click OK again. Now it created this hyperlink, paperclip, I guess is what you call this. I still haven't found the right name for this thing here. But the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure I flatten this markup. Once I flatten it, the paperclip will go away. And now if I hover over it and I click on it, it's going to open up the RFI that I hyperlinked it to. So I'm going to go back, hit say check-in, close this RFI. And then the other way that I'm going to do it is by creating a button. So I'm somewhat a big fan of buttons. So I am going to create a button here. I'm going to call the button RFI. I'm going to go here to my properties for the button. Down here on the label, this label is going to be RFI, or let's call it RFI-001. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is going to keep scrolling down to the Add Action section. Click there, click on Open File, back to my RFIs folder, click on the RFI, click Open, click OK again. Then I'm going to X out. So once I click on the RFI button, again, the RFI should come up. Yep, there we go. So same RFI, two different ways of hyperlinking stuff together. Check in, close this. I'm somewhat of a big fan of buttons, so I kind of like the buttons way, but again, two different ways. Either by using a markup, you can save this markup in your toolbox or your tool chest, or you can just create a button and then hyperlink stuff together like that. Back to the agenda. So we went over creating or grabbing the drawings and loading up to Studio Project, creating the bookmarks, batch linking the drawings. Then again, what we just went over, the buttons and the markups, how to hyperlink stuff together. Then let's move on to the Studio Project preferences. And let's create a studio group and give access to subs, project admins, or field engineers. I'm going to leave the drawings open. We might need them again, but I'm going to go back to the project. So we're going to go to the project settings. We're going to click there, and then in the project settings, you have your general project information, your user access, permissions, and folder permissions. So we're going to start with the permissions. If I go to my group membership management, I already created different groups in here with the people that I want to give certain rights to. So I created an Archer Western one, I created a test one, and a sub. Normally I create a sub one and then use my personal email address as the test email. But if you want to create one from scratch, you go to add, and then I'm just going to call it Applied Software Development Project. And then in here, I want to start adding John Doe at appliedsoftware.com, and you start adding different email addresses that you want people to have access to your project. So you're going to click OK, and right now I'm just going to add a few of the ones that I already have. So I'm going to say Archer Western Big Creek, then admin rights, and then sub. Then I'm going to go to here to the applied permissions, and then for the sub, I only want the sub to be able to look at drawings. So I'm going to deny access to all these different options. And then now I'm going to go to the folder permissions and then add that sub in there. So click OK. And then I just want the sub to be able to read the files. And if I click on this drop down arrow, the sub is only going to have access to read files in the drawings and then to read files in the RFIs. But I don't want the sub to have access to the dashboard, so I'm going to hide that. Again, you click apply, and then that should be it. I'm going to click on the sub and then email reminder to join. Now on the end, the sub, which is my personal email address as the example, are you sure you want to email a reminder to one person to join this project? You say okay. You can add a message if you want, send reminder, click OK, and then these are the people that have access to the project so far. I just created this John Doe at applysoftware.com. Hopefully that person doesn't exist. But if I want to keep adding either individual people to the project, I can do it this way, or if I already have a group of people that I want to give access to or to invite to my project, then I can do it this way as well. So that's how you give different permissions to different people. So that's how you create a studio group and then give different admin or field superintendent or field engineers or just regular access to subs in your studio project. And then once those different people will log on to your studio project, they, for example, the sub will have access or will be able to see the drawings folder and the RFIs, but he will not be able to see the dashboard folder. So moving along, create a field dashboard. So now we're going to go back to this dashboard folder. And before we get started in doing the actual, creating the actual dashboard, I'm going to open up just two examples that I already created so you guys will see how the final product will look like. This is a current project that we have in the company. And then as you click through all these buttons, it'll take you to either different folders, files, or different websites, for example, up here. I have this dashboard kind of layered down. So if I click on drawings, it's going to take me, it's going to hide different layers and take me to either the civil or the building drawings. And if I click back on home, it's going to take me back to the main page. And just to point out, this is only one PDF, but I have a JavaScript in the back where if I click on different buttons, it's going to turn on and off different layers. So I'm going to check in and close this. So this is one example of a dashboard I created. And then this is another dashboard that I created as well. This is the one that I currently use on my project. So I'm going to check this in, and now let's get started on actually building the dashboard. I'm not going to create it as complicated as this. I'm just going to create 2 buttons and then just go from there, since it normally takes a little bit of time to create the dashboard. But once it is created, it's pretty helpful. It's going to save you a lot of time. So again, I created this template already. This is just a regular PDF, and just to save us some time. But I'm going to go here. The first way that I'm going to create it is by creating different buttons. So I'm going to go to my Forms tab. I'm going to go to the button section, drag. I'm going to call this drawings. Then I'm going to go to my properties, go down here to the label, call it drawings. Then I'm going to add action. When I click on that button, I want it to open up a folder. So I'm going to go to my studio project. I'm going to select the folder, click select, click OK. And if I want to make this button a little bit, look a little bit better, I can just say here, change the color to say green, and then you can just make it look as pretty as you want. So this is one way of creating a button. The other way of creating a button is by doing just a simple markup. So I'm going to go to my markup. I'm going to say drawings. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can actually see it. All right, so now I can right click on that markup and say edit action, and then click open. And then again, I can either hyperlink it to a folder or I can hyperlink it to an actual file. Let's hyperlink this one to the actual file. So my drawings, and then dewatering temp 2, that's my set of drawings. Click OK. I'm going to click OK again. Same deal. Make sure you flatten it so that little paperclip will go away. And then if I click on the button, it's going to open up the folder. Then I can open up my drawings. Or if I click on the drawings markup, then it's immediately going to open up my drawings. Let's go back. And so that's to hyperlink to a folder or hyperlink into a file. Now I want to create another button, and then I want to hyperlink it to the company website. So I'm going to say company website. I'm going to go here to the label. I'm going to say Walsh Group.com. I'm going to edit action. I'm going to hyperlink. So this is the company website. So I'm going to highlight that, copy, go back to Bluebeam, go back to the section here, paste, click OK. And now it is hyperlinked to the company website. So if I hit escape and I click on this button, it's going to open up the company website. So moving along, that's how creating a dashboard works. Let's go and navigate the set of drawings on my iPad. So now I'm going to open up the Bluebeam app on my iPad. I'm going to go to the Studio tab. I'm going to log into my account. Once I log in, I'm going to go to the Projects tab. Then as you can see here, you will, this is the Applied Software Development Project. I'm going to click there. And as you can see, the drawings, RFIs, and dashboard folders are in here. Normally the thing that I tell people is that always keep your dashboard PDF open, because this is going to help you navigate back and forth through all the different files or folders, especially when you have, for example, 20 folders in this studio project. Right now we only have 3, so it's pretty easy to get around. So let's open up the Big Creek dashboard, the one that we just created on the desktop. And as you can see, if I click on the Drawings tab, the Drawings folder is going to come up. And if I click on the Walsh Group tab, the company website is going to come up. Let's go back to the dashboard. So that's how you navigate with the dashboard around on the project. When you're out in the field, you don't need Wi-Fi. You can just open this up and then navigate through the drawings in the field. So I'm gonna put the bookmarks to use. That's the reason why we created them. So if I click on this orange drop-down arrow and then I click on my bookmarks tab, you will see that all the bookmarks that we created on the desktop are shown right here. So if I click on this arrow, then it's going to take me to the cover page, draw an index, so on and so forth. These are all the hyperlinks that we created. So if I click on this G-009, then it's going to take me, as you can see down here on the bottom right, to that one page. And if I go back to up here up top of 4 out of 138, I can just go back to page number 1, or I guess that was page number 2. And then I can just navigate through, if I want to go to the architectural drawings or the process drawings, so on and so forth. Everything is hyperlinked. The hyperlinks are created and this happened when we did the batch hyperlink. So everything was created automatically. The other thing that I wanted to show is, I believe it was on page 9. If I click here on this hyperlink, yes, the RFI. So if the guys out in the field are going through the drawings and they see this RFI symbol or the RFI button, they'll know to click on there. They'll know that that page had an RFI and they can click through it. Normally, I like to set different statuses to the RFI. If, for example, the RFI is still open, I will leave it red, the markup, or if the RFI is closed, then I will change the markup color to green, and you can do that automatically. But that's a topic for another day. Or let's just click on the button, the RFI button, and then it opened up the RFI again. So again, two different ways of clicking or of creating RFIs. So I think pretty much we covered everything that I had on the agenda. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you type them into the Q&A section, and then we'll get those questions answered. If not, I'm going to leave my information in the description so you guys can send me an email. If you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those questions for you. And I'm also pretty active on LinkedIn, so you can also send me a message through LinkedIn, and then we'll go from there. And if not, let's just connect. And I'm also posting different content on LinkedIn, different workflows. So thanks, Applied Software, for having me on this webinar. I really enjoy sharing my knowledge and the things that I know in Bluebeam. Looking forward to the next one, and I will see you guys on the live Q&A. Thanks.